Happy holidays, everyone. How is it going? It's me, Shane. I'm here to give you the last Spy Family episode review and recap. It is episode 25, First Contact. And before I go any further, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit all to be notified of more videos such as this one. All the time that I have dreaded has come upon us, where the first official season of Spy Family is technically over. But fret not, in 2023 we will get season 2, and we're getting a movie. I wonder if the movie's going to tie in with the anime at all. Is it going to be, much like most anime movies, where it's like a separate thing? It's like, oh, this happens after this, but it's a side timeline thing. No, I really hope that their movie connects with the show, personally. Sorry, manga readers, but you can just get a manga version of the movie, right? But yeah, this last episode is much like the first episode, heavy on the Loid. We get the Anya, and we get Yor towards the end. It's pretty decent. So this is the last one. Last episode season. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go ahead and just do my play-by-play. That's what I'm gonna do, y'all. So the social gathering, the one with the Stella stars and the Stella kids and the Stella parents and the Stella, has tons of guards. Loid is already disguised as a teacher. So tons of guards, the voiceover guy does give us the rundown of this. I did not bother writing this down because I talked about it before when the voiceover guy did it. But yeah, it's alumni, important people from the government, the parents of the Stella students themselves. Very, very, very select few for this summit. For this meeting. And Loid, while he's in disguise looking around, he's like, man, this is the same level of security for the summit meeting, but this goes beyond what I thought it was. Like, they are scanning folks everywhere. His brain has a schematic of how everything works. He's like, the place where they're meeting, there are no other buildings taller around it, so I can't spy and read lips. On top of that, they have high security protocols. Like, anyone that's tried to get in before has easily been found out. So he has to find another way how to meet with Desmond, his intended target. He even says, well, I can disguise myself and pretend to be the parent of a student. But then that could go wrong, because we get, a kid going, Daddy, acting real weird. And then I could pretend to be famous, but that could get messy really soon. I could pretend to be a waiter, but there's no way in heck I can get close to him at that point. And it's just so much that can go wrong. And if Desmond's such a elusive creature that if he felt anything was off, he would leave, and he would probably never return to another one of the gatherings. So he says, it's going to be best for me to just regroup and just make notes and just prepare for the next time. So students got a half day. Becky even asked Anya, does she want to go shopping? Students are like, oh, your dad's going to be here. And Damian's super sad. Now Anya is lasered in on him because we get a flashback. Anya's already read his mind. Flashback. He makes a phone call to his brother. I don't remember his brother's name. Didn't even write his brother's name down. The little jerk. So he makes a call and he talks to me, and his brother's just cool. Like, what is it? What do you want? Well, you're going to be at the social gathering, right? Can you tell father to meet me at the library? I want to talk to him. He's like, all right, I'll do it. But you know how busy it is, so don't get your hopes up. And that it? And he hangs up. Sounds like the Desmond family are full of a-holes. And this little Damian Desmond, he is a little sproutling of an a-hole. But you know what? We can, if with some tender love and care, we can just turn him around, just make him just Sundre. I can deal with that. But Anya's already read his mind. And she's going to find a way of bringing Loid closer to the target. Anya is not stealthy at all. Because as the boys are walking down the hallway, she's like weaving in and out. Even Becky just kind of just standing there looking at her. And they're like, oh, you've been following me all week. What's up with that, huh? And Conehead is like, oh, maybe she wants to, and of course Damian's blushing. Damian has a crush on her. We already know this, but he's like, oh, she just want to get close to you to get close to your daddy. That's what that is. And she calls her ugly, and they leave. And Anya straight up tells Becky, I love this ride or die relationship. She tells Becky, I really want to punch him. She's like, don't do it. You're gonna get expelled. Talks her out of it. So she can hear her father's thoughts, because her father's like, dang, no plan B. And she's like, Papa? Shishi? What? Where are you? He's behind a corner. And he's saying, well, you know what? She's trying to smooth things over in her own way. That could work out in my favor. So Damian's gonna go to the library. Loid's already around the corner. The scholars are coming in. It's all super intimidating. And he's like, you know what? No, my father probably doesn't have time for this. I'm just gonna go. And Loid's like, dang, if he doesn't go, I won't be able to find a way to do this. You know, what happens is Anya slides out of nowhere, like the true anime hero she is, and goes, I know what you're thinking. No, she didn't even say I know what you're thinking. She's like, you're scared, aren't you? And he's like, could she read my mind? Of course, this is the one thing I'm starting to hate, was like Anya going like, oh no, I can't let them know that I read their thoughts. Look, no one's going to believe that you can read their thoughts, Anya, although you're too tiny and innocent to realize that. And I get you're not trying to blow your cover, but she needs to just start rolling with it. Like, yeah, I can read your mind, and I can tell that you're just afraid. But she does do a good job of rolling with it. Because she goes, oh, you know, I saw that you got a 50 on your test. And, you know, she's like, how did you know? I peeked over your shoulder. And Becky's like, she really has been stalking him. But don't worry, I got a 17, so I get it. He's like, don't let me in with you. But look, I get it. I'm scared to tell, you know, Papa whenever I do something wrong, whenever I do bad on the test. And I'm so scared that, you know, he'll stop loving me, or he'll stop loving me because he's mad. And Loid's hearing all this. He's like, Anya. Like, he's like, damn. So it's kind of going to give him something to think about. Probably. Loid doesn't really forget a lot of things. So probably give him something to think about. And then Anya goes, look, I believe in him. And because I believe in him, and I believe in him because I love him. It's like, oh. So she believes that he's going to, you know, love her and everything like that. And I will always show my bad tests, even if I do really bad. And she gets confused. She's like, wait, what were we talking about again? She doesn't realize she's trying to manipulate it to get him to talk to his dad. But Loid is happy. Anya's provoking worked in his favor. And Anya's going to wait there too, because Becky's like, my car is outside. School's up. We can go home. And she's like, oh, Anya's determined. You're going to meet his parents so you can make a declaration of love and marriage. You know what, Anya, I'm staying with you. And not too long after that, Anya's asleep. She's asleep. Becky has Martha carry her out. And I love the fine details in this show. Martha wears a bolo necktie that has BB. It's, you know, black bell. It's a bell. It's BB on a bell. I love that. For most of you all who probably don't know this, I like to write. I write stories, so I love that attention to detail. I do a little bit of drawing too, but I'm terrible. But regardless, I love details like that. And so Becky, Loid's costume is so good, she says goodbye to the teacher, and Loid has a replica, a tin dog replica of the little sheep that Anya has on her backpack. That is the symbol of friendship between her and Becky. As Martha's carrying her out, he's just like, hey, I got this. So, heavy security around Desmond. But before we get into that, he comes in, he comes in as himself, says, hey, I'm looking for a little stuffed sheep. You know, my daughter cried. It means a lot to her. And while Damian's playing, you know, cards with Ratface and Conehead, he's like, oh yeah, this here. He's like, oh, you're Damian Desmond. Yeah. I'm Loid, and he already knew that he was Loid. He's like, are you Mr. Forger? He's like, I am. Thank you. He apologizes for what Anya did. Anya should do it again. And this is when his dad comes in. Mr. Crazy Eyes. Like, his normal defunct motion is wide eyes like this. And then he does a little squint. And I can't tell if the squint means, ooh, happy squint, or evil squint, because I'll get into it in a second. So Mr. Wide Eye comes in with his 6 guards, and you know, Loid has already done the whole kiss ass thing. He's already kneeled to Damian, apologized, and Damian's like, hey, he calls him old man, which is hilarious because Loid's like at least 23, 24. And Loid, here we go. Loid is getting ready to get an introduction with this man. So the people at Wise are looking through the files. You know, they're looking at who's going to be at this thing. And one guy's like, oh man, this is amazing. Attention to detail. Remember the tennis heist? If you look on Sylvia's hands, she is wearing the rings that they got as part of that heist. I love them details. And so she tells the operative, she's like, oh, you want to go to it? Yeah, you go ahead. In 5 minutes, you'll be called in a security net, which we did see with the sweeping and everything like that. And in 30 minutes, you'll be tortured and interrogated. She's like, we can't send in unexperienced agents, and we are technically on enemy territory, which they are. That school is the front of the Cold War. Dun, dun. That's what it is. So Desmond, Desmond is the chairman of the National Party. Loid has studied everything this man has done, but as of lately, he has gone into hiding, so he can't really figure out much more that's going on with him. So he's trying to figure out how to get his interest. We get a flow chart because Loid's good with the flow charts, like things to talk about the backup, to the backup, to the backup, to the backup, and then flows from all that. And he's just trying to figure out how to talk to him. He does introduce himself as Loid Forger, and he apologizes. Loid apologizes for what happened with Anya. And Damian's happy that his father was worried about him because he's like, oh, yeah, I heard about. First of all, this lanky, strung out looking man has one of the deepest voices. I watch the sub now. Watch the sub. Ain't no dubs in this house. Unless it's Fooly Cooley and Dragon Ball Z. But subs. So he has the deepest voice. Just, it's like, oh, yeah, I heard about that. I didn't have time to address it, right? And when he says, well, I wanted to come to your house and apologize. Personally, I want to bring a gift. He's like, does a smiles with his eyes because his big ass mustache covers his mouth, and smiles with his eyes and saying, don't worry about it. It's a mere squabble between children. And Loid's like, ooh, instant rejection. He's like, I can't push that too much because that would be suspicious and that could just ruin everything. So I'm just going to back up. And now Damian's like, wait, man, he thinks he's not concerned. And he's like, but someone put their hands on a Desmond. I got punched. And, that's when Loid actually piggybacked off of that and was like, yeah, your son's right. And that's when it got shut down. But he's still upset again because he thinks his father doesn't care. And this man breathes steam, leers at him, and that instantly shuts Damian up. He just straightens out. Abusive as all hell. Very abusive. Holy shit. And so, Loid assured Damian, he's like, you have every right to be upset. I'll lecture her again to never do that again. My daughter's eccentric and it's hard to get a handle on her. And the three boys are like, oh man, this guy's got it rough. And he says out loud that, it's hard to control a child and it's even impossible too, but you never thought it would be that tough. It's, it's part of the job basically. And Desmond with his leer is saying, yeah, you're right. It is difficult. And in the end, even a child that's born of your blood is a stranger. Whoa. Tell us how you really feel. That's what he's going to do. It's simply impossible to understand what someone else is truly thinking. People will never be able to understand each other. Holy shit. This guy is literally a villain. That is a super villain speech if I have ever heard one. Again, with his evil leer. And Loid thinks, so is that who you are? Is that why you're taking over other nations by force, making them bend their knees? Is that who you really are, Desmond? And I'm like, you're absolutely right. That is who he is. And so he says out loud, you're absolutely right. And I'm like, okay. He says, as a psychiatrist, because he introduced himself as Dr. Loid Forger. As a psychiatrist, I worry about not being able to understand my patients and things like that. And on the inside, he's like, it's true. In quotation, we can talk it out. It's nothing but idealism. It might be sheer ignorance to think that you can truly understand another. But, he says on the inside now, because he said that part on the outside. Inside, he says, but what is truly important, yeah, he says the but on the inside, but he says, what's truly important is to continue to walk beside people despite not knowing what they think. And this at this part, it makes Damian kind of look up. Like his father's shooting down all the negative vibes, and Loid is giving this great speech and just kind of lifting the kid up, right? He says, the things my daughter do are truly a mystery to me. She has a candy coupon. She says, I'm going to go free some candy hostages. He's like, good luck. Anya's adorable. Best part of the show. And so he said, I decided to accept her regardless and try to find every opportunity I can to talk to her, though it doesn't always go well. On the inside, he says, I won't abandon this path of obtaining information and gaining understanding. I am an intelligence agent after all. And I love that about him. He says, he's literally like, I don't get people. I don't get you. But you know what? Part of my vocation, part of who I am, is gaining information through understanding people and understanding how they work. I love it. And so he touches Damian's shoulder and he says, don't you make time for your son despite how busy you are? He's like, you do make a valid point. I can see why you look up to your father. Anya had mentioned it. Here's where the spy lies come in. He's looking up at Loid's smiling face, and Loid's like, didn't you have a report about, things that you want to do with careers? And he says, yeah, Anya mentioned, what you want to do. You speak highly and look up to your dad. And that's all Anya could talk about. In big words, is all lies. I heard Anya's, saying all this because I didn't witness it myself, obviously. He did witness it himself. He was spying. Literally, it was spying, and that's how he knew everything. And he's like, I'm sorry for saying this, but I am against the National Party. And this actually made Desmond's eyes go from this to open. He's like, I'm against the National Party, but hearing how much your son respects you and all the stuff from this report made me realize how genuinely concerned you are for our country. It's like, what an interesting man. You're Loid Forger, right? And security officer checks his watch. This man, with the way they're positioned, the security officer checks his watch. He's able to look over and look at it without having to break his pristine poise, which is very interesting. So, he's like, all right, well, that's enough time. I guess giving him my name is enough. I've already had enough time to memorize the faces of the security detail and their builds. Ooh, okay, Loid, I see you. So he asks Damian to keep their meeting a secret. I'm sure she doesn't. He says, my daughter's a contrarian. I'm sure she doesn't actually hate you, but it'll actually make me happy if you were friends with her. To which Damian's like, I would want that too. And rat facing Conan like, he's like I would be friends with a commoner. Shut up. And Loid takes this opportunity to go, oh, I'm sorry, I guess I got to raise my status, and just walks off, says bye and everything with the squint. He's squinting now because he's just like, ooh, I'm in the face of evil. Not Damian, but Donovan Desmond. And during that, when he was telling him about her not hating him, we got to see all of the blushy faces and smiling faces and crying faces that Anya has made in Damian's presence. Of course, Damian, he has a crush on her. He likes her, right? So, dude goes from leering to wide-eyed and asks, what did Damian want? He's like, nothing, but then he hears Loid's words in his mind. And he hears Anya's words in his mind. He tells his father, hey, I got a stellar star, for academics. I'm still working hard on everything else. I got first prize in the Griffin. I got a 50 on my test, but I'm still doing it. He squints and he says, well done. Keep up the good work. And Damian straight up asks him, why did you show up? Just on a whim, I guess. But tells him keep working hard so that he doesn't shame the Desmond name. Good for you, Damian. You deserved that praise. Poor kid is just emotionally abused to the point that he definitely needs it. Loid may have been manipulating things to help out with his mission, but the kid genuinely needed it. So Damian he's happy, he's blushing, but Loid was not gone. He was at another archway spying with the spyglass. He's like, working on their relationship will help plan B out. So making father and son get closer. It's all the machinations, but at the same time, his machinations actually, you're helping out this kid, man. You really are helping out this kid. And He's still spying on. He's like, Donovan Desmond is elusive. It might be quicker to work from the outside going in. And he's about to leave, but he sees the boys cheer. They're chanting Stella, Stella, Stella. He has the serious Loid face on, but he kind of looks at them for a minute, and then he leaves because he's going back to HQ to report everything. We know Loid did this as part of his mission, but he doesn't want any children to be sad, even the children of the enemies of keeping the peace. He's not going to want that kid to be actually sad, so he's doing everything he can. And he even said earlier in the episode, the Operation Strix thing is not like a wham bam thank you ma'am. It got to have constant contact with this guy to get information out. So when he gets home, Anya's already asleep. According to she's been asleep since Becky brought her home. And that was a funny interaction there. I have a delivery for you. I think she used up too much of her psychic powers. I think that's why she passed out. Because it might be a bit of a strain on her to do it the entire week, because Damian has said she was following him the entire week. So she might have been working in overdrive. And it's so cute because Bond is wrapped around her while she's sleeping, and she says, Papa, Anya's gonna fight the boss too. And his hat kind of slides. He's like, I have no idea what she's talking about. And we'll get a nice little beat to be continued. Cannot wait for this show to come back and continue. Easily, I have to say, easily, I think it's the best anime of 2022. Yeah, stuff like Chainsaw Man's done great. What is it? The 1,000-Year Blood War. That's good too. But I have to give it to this show. And what other shows appeared this year? It was Shikimori is not just a cutie. We had Skeleton Knight. I can firmly say, of all the things that I have watched, I would give SpyXFamily best anime of 2022. This year, really, really, really good. Last year was kind of a toss-up between Mushoku Tensei and Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer was really But I guess if we're talking new shows, 2022, SpyXFamily, all the way, SpyXFamily. So, what did you think of the entire first season? Parts 1, parts 2. What did you think of the season? What did you think of the episode? If you made it this far, please, as part of my Christmas gift, leave a comment down below. Do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos such as this one. And don't forget, if you hit all on that bell, you'll be notified real fast. Real fast. As always, thank you for taking some time out to listen to me talk about, honestly, one of my favorite shows. This is honestly one of my favorite anime shows, period. As always, guys, be good, be blessed. Wash those hands. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Either way it goes. Please don't be a jerk. All right? Don't be a jerk. And I cannot say this more. There's someone who would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. You're not alone. You're never alone. I know the holidays can be rough. You're never alone. So if you need someone to talk to, my social medias are right there in that description. Just hit the show more. Follow me. Drop me a message. I will happily speak to you. I promise. So, with that, on this Merry Christmas Eve, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice, Happy everything. Happy Holidays, everybody. All right? So, this is Shane, and I will most definitely see you next time.